Week 4 kicked off this week with the Jacksonville Jaguars going against the Cincinnati Bengals. Turned out to be a good one. Rookie Trevor Lawrence and Joe Burrow. We're going to dive into it here after this. Welcome back to another episode of Something Like a Sportscast. It's your boy Dre Giles in the house. We're going to get into a couple of these games that have taken place here in the previous week. The first game will be the Jaguars and the Cincinnati Bengals. The Jags actually led the whole game, somehow lost it with the last few seconds of the game. The Jags' Trevor Lawrence went for 17 for 24 through the air with 204 yards, adding 8 carries for 36 yards. I would have to say that he played a pretty decent game. He looked like the game kind of came to him, I guess, as the game went on. It's like Trevor Lawrence is starting to put the pieces together himself. I mean, I know they're 0-4, Urban Meyer's first year as head coach. I'm pretty sure this guy didn't come out of college to go 0-4, but they'll get it together here eventually, you would think. The guy looks like he has a nice upside. On the other side of the ball, we had Joe Burrow. This kid's looked pretty good this year, pretty steady so far. Struggled early in the start of the game, but picked it up towards the end of it, per se the second half. Burrow went 25 for 32 with 348 passing yards. The Bengals end up winning the game 24-21 with the last-second field goal. Joe Burrow, he looked kind of shaky in the first half, I would say. Looked kind of shaky. The second half came along, and it was a whole different person, a whole nother quarterback, whole different game, seemed like a whole different game plan. Kind of seemed like Cincinnati figured out the offensive scheme. Cincinnati's defense figured out the offensive scheme of the Jaguars, and they were able to capitalize and put them down and put a lock on it and came out with the victory. I want to talk a little bit about my Denver Broncos. As you see, I got my Broncos hat on today. The Broncos gave the Jets a beat down this week. Poor Jets, they can't get it. They've never been able to get it together. They beat them down 26-0. Bridgewater went 19 for 25 with 235 passing yards. The Broncos are 3-0 for the first time since 2016 with the Peyton Manning-led Broncos. They got a pretty hard matchup coming up here this week. They go against Lamar Jackson and his Baltimore Ravens. I'm curious to see what the Broncos will do here. They haven't played really anybody tough on their schedule yet. I think it's going to start getting hard here. So we'll put that 3-0 to the test. The Ravens go into Bronco country and try to get a win. The Ravens now sit at 2-1. They're hoping to get a steal here in the Mile High City. Bridgewater and the team should be able to put something together here. Their defense is still pretty stout. I mean, we lost Bradley Chubb. Hopefully we get him back here mid-season. And the Broncos will be all right to go. I'm thinking maybe 4-0 after this week, but, I mean, I am kind of biased. I am a Broncos fan. Then you got the Pittsburgh Steelers. They've looked really shaky here. They can't protect Ben Roethlisberger. The offensive line has absolutely fallen apart. It seems like in every which way. Poor Ben has to scramble on every play. He's getting hit. He's getting people holding on to him as he's trying to let the ball go. Just looks bad. They're getting one of their receivers back here, Johnson, from that knee injury. So maybe this week they'll have what it takes to bounce back and do what they can do. But they do go into Lambeau against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, and Aaron Rodgers is on a roll. He is on a roll. So I look for it to be an interesting game if they can get back. But I don't know. You got to go against an Aaron Rodgers there in Lambeau. That's a tough crowd. And then you got the Arizona Cardinals. Now, these guys are 3-0. The Arizona Cardinals are going against the L.A. Rams, which are also 3-0. One team will remain undefeated here at the end of Sunday. Who? I don't know. They both got good defenses, but both of their quarterbacks are elite. Even Matt Stafford at the age that he's at, he's doing an amazing thing. Matt Stafford has thrown for 942 yards so far this year with 9 touchdowns. I say Sean McVay made a pretty good decision when he decided to trade for Stafford for Goff. Now, Goff is in Detroit, and we all know Detroit's not doing all that well, but they do have a young quarterback, so things will start moving along. I think for Detroit, as they get their running game together. The defense needs to pick it up a little bit, but they'll be all right. If I was to pick, my money would go to the Rams. I mean, they got big Aaron Donald in the game, but I mean, it's too close to really tell. You got Kyler Murray. His crew looks really good, and they're trying to leave LA with the win. Murray has already thrown for over 1,000 yards this year. This kid is amazing. I mean, the way he moves on the field is absolutely amazing. The guy puts the ball in the air and he puts it where it needs to be. He's very, very accurate. He's also passed for 7 touchdowns so far this year. So can't wait to see that game. That game is going to be great here on Sunday. And then, of course, everybody has on their mind Mr. Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady is going back into Foxborough for the first time since he's left. I mean, in a way, it's an offensive mind against an offensive mind. Tampa Bay has too many weapons, and with the rookie that they have over there, Mac Jones, and over there, Foxborough and New England, I don't think they have enough to conquer Brady. So I think Brady goes back in, and I think he lets Bill Belichick know pretty much who won those championships. I mean, I'm not saying Belichick didn't have anything to do with it, but he wasn't out there throwing the ball. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game just on one side of the ball, though. I think Tom Brady and his team are going to put up a lot of points, and I don't think Belichick and Mac Jones and company are going to be able to withstand the onslaught of these receivers and this running core that they have to back up Tom Brady. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game all around. Now, I want to dip into a little bit of our parlays here. Now, we have the segment here on something like a sportscast where we do our times 10. Times 10 is always fun. It gives you opportunity to basically $1 to 10. I mean, or if you can look at it, it'll be 100 to 1,000. Your times 10. So we're going to get into it a little bit here. I know I was talking about the Detroit Lions and what they've done so far this year, but Detroit goes into Chicago, and Chicago just looks a mess, an absolute horrible mess. The coach doesn't even know who's starting this week. You have the rookie, which they just kind of threw in, which I think is okay. You learn on the run. You see Trevor Lawrence and how he's doing over there. I think you keep the rookie in, but now Dalton is easing his way back, I guess, from injury. And now it's just a toss-up of who's who and who's going to play. So I see Detroit. They do have Goff. They do have a pretty good team. I don't know if Swift's going to be available. He's a questionable mark on his name right now. Hopefully he's good to go. But I'm going to go here with the money line on this game here. The money line sits at a plus 130 for the Lions. I think the Lions going to Chicago, and they do what they have to do. The spread for this game is sitting at a -3 for the Chicago Bears with an over or under at 41.5 is where that sits. So once again, in my first pick of my times 10, I'm going to go the plus 130 for the Detroit Lions. I think it'll be interesting to watch. Most definitely a nail-biter, I would say, with these two teams. Second part of my top 10 is going to be the Cleveland Browns, the mighty Cleveland Browns. Cleveland came from nothing to something, I guess some would say. They got the quarterback Baker Mayfield. They got Odell Beckham back. They have the running game with Nick Chubb and Hunt. I mean, their offense seems to be you can't stop it. There's nothing you can do against this team, it seems like. If you can't put up big points, you can't stay with them. But they do play Minnesota. Now, Minnesota is at home with this game, and Minnesota did pull off a good victory last week. I mean, they had a heartbreaker the week before that against Arizona, but I think this week it'll be a nice matchup here in Cleveland. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Both of these teams can put up points. Both of these teams have dynamic offenses. I would say I'm going to go with the 51.5 on the over for this game. I believe the first half will kick it off with the high scoring. I say first half maybe 14-7. We'll say, and then we'll go with. I'll let you know what the spread is here. The spread for this game is plus 2.5 for the Vikings at home. So the Vikings are the underdogs at home, which is I don't know. I don't really agree with that, but at home they're pretty tough. The Vikings money line sits at plus 118 for the Minnesota Vikings. So we'll see what happens there. The last leg of my times 10 to triple it and put it to where it needs to be to make this pick successful. I say I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks. The money line on the Seahawks is 128. The spread for this game sits at a -3, and the over/under is at a 51.5. I say I go with the money line at a plus 128. Russell Wilson has never lost 3 games in a row, so I see them bouncing back, and I think they're able to take this win. I'm not going to mess with the over/under because you never know what these defenses are going to do. But I think at the end of the game, when all said and done, Russell Wilson comes out on top of this. They need a big bounce back. They got DK Metcalf back too. Carson's running the ball. It'll be good. It'll be good, I think. So that's going to pretty much wrap it up for us here at Something Like a Sportscast. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you stay on your YouTube channel for all of our new updates. You can follow me at Dre Giles, or you can follow us at SL Sportscast. Something Like a Sportscast.